What's up, guys? It's me, Emily G, back at you again with another commentary video. We are gonna get right into it today because something kind of has me, not my blood boiling, I don't have that much invested in this, but I'm a little upset and we need to talk about it. I wanted to film a video first on the Olympics, but we just have to get this one out of the way because I think I'm gonna focus on this until I can get this off of my chest and we can discuss it. But real quick first, if you hate the background and you hate the lighting and everything sucks, let me know in the comments what you think I can change or improve on, and I will be happy to. Let's try to keep it civil. We're going to be talking about a few different people in this story today. And everybody's got a different background and everything they believe. But I'm not going to have homophobia in my comments. I'm not going to have anti-Semitism in my comments. You can dismiss yourself or I will dismiss you for yourself. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So let's just skip right into today's topic because it's a long one and I have some bullet point notes here just to make sure that I say everything I want to say because I'm new to commentary and I feel like maybe me angrily talking about something is probably not the best way to get my thoughts out clearly. So let's jump right in. We're talking about Rosanna Pansino. And if you don't know who Rosanna Pansino is, she's a pretty fairly successful YouTuber right now. She started out doing mostly baking and cooking, not so much gossipy, but more vlog style kind of videos. And she started slowly moving into a commentary drama space, in the sense that she would always try to distance herself personally. But as of recently, this last year or so, we've seen her get into more headlines with some kind of problematic things. And not so much problematic herself, but I don't know. She's just one of those people that I feel like she claims not to be involved in drama. And, oh, I don't like drama. I try not to insert myself, but then clearly inserts self into drama. And a lot of people have mixed feelings on her, and some of this can be a very nuanced conversation. So I want to talk about it, but basically, as of this morning, I think, or at least from what I've heard, she is inviting a co-host now, I guess, to her podcast, Rodiculous, which I haven't seen Rodiculous. Actually, that's a lie. I've seen a part of Rodiculous. I've never sat down and watched the podcast itself. I saw some people reacting to some pieces of it online. But I guess it's just where she talks about whatever's going on, kind of like this, right? But in podcast form. And so basically the co-host she announced recently, is Olivia of the H3H3 podcast. Now, I know that the H3H3 podcast is a hot button topic. And you either hate them or you love them. Personally, I am not a fan, but I understand that people like it, and we're gonna try to keep it civil down below. I don't think that's gonna be what happens, but let's go into this being all right, let's all calm down. Let's try to look at this from a bigger perspective here, which I know is a lot to ask from H3 fans and also the internet, but we can try to do it, right? So H3H3 podcast, the hosts, I guess, Ethan and Hila Klein, and a lot of people have mixed feelings on them. I'm personally not fans, as you'll see in this video, and I don't know, if this video is not for you, I've got plenty of other videos you can check out, right? But basically, Olivia was one of the, I guess, main players, right, in this H3H3 podcast, and they would talk about all things drama, political, more hot button than I think we do on this channel, because I want this channel to be a little bit more of an easier watch, which I know for drama is kind of a lot to ask for, but I want this to just be a fun let's gossip after work kind of thing, not a let's ruin somebody's life, you know what I mean? Because TBH, drama makes the world go round. We have a hard day, a long day at work, and sometimes you just want to rant about something to your friend, you know what I mean? So while I do believe there can be a spectrum of drama which airs on just casual, oh my god, guess what happened yesterday, to this could ruin someone's life and it's very dangerous and this is traumatic, and so I like to stay on that one side where we're just having a kiki, right? But so the H3H3 podcast, I feel is a little bit more on the other side, and so one of the players, Olivia, had not so recently, but I guess recently took a little break or stepped away from the podcast. And people speculate it was different things. Some people say she just wanted a mental health break. Some people say, oh, well, she wanted that mental health break because her boss, Ethan Klein, was like kind of a lot of people in the workplace, and it was a very uncomfortable environment for especially a woman to be in, but really anybody on that show. I don't really know. I don't really care. I just see it as, all right, she stepped away. She hasn't been there. I'm trying not to look into those details so much. But she never officially said like, hey, I resign, I quit. It was very vague in that sense, right? And so recently when Rosanna announced that Olivia would be joining the podcast, there were definitely mixed feelings in the comments, I should say. Specifically, well, actually, I couldn't tell you what specifically, because even though I can get into those comments, it turns out Rosanna has me blocked on Twitter. Little old me, like 300 subscribers me. I don't know what I did to garner this attention. I guess I'm flattered. But like, I feel like even on Twitter, like, I'm really not a hateful person online. I mean, if my take is not something you're fond of, then maybe that's just because we don't agree on something. But I've never like gone after anybody or been like insulting to anyone's looks or saying any, bad words or anything. Like I try to keep it pretty tame because I know that there's another person on the side of that screen. So I really couldn't tell you why I'm blocked, but somehow she's managed to find my Twitter. I don't know. Honestly, I'm honored, but let's get past that. I was still able to view the comments. I just can't really interact with anything. And so I was looking at these comments on the announcement of Olivia joining the podcast, which, is it still going to be called Rodiculous? And is this just season 2 of the podcast with her? Or is it like, is each season going to have a new co-host? I feel like it would make more sense if it was a guest, like in a few shows, but to have the same one guest on for a season, it's very interesting to me. I don't know how it'll work. But anyways, I thought the comments were mixed, right? Some people were very unhappy and thought this was very hypocritical of her, Rosanna, to invite Olivia because she's part of H3H3, which is notorious for being not very women-friendly online, in the sense that the hosts, Ethan and Hila, tend to go after women in like a not nice, attacky way. And whether or not you disagree with me, I guess it's here or there, but the facts are out there, right? There are several lawsuits going on behind the scenes from Ethan that he's put on to several other women for like what I consider, in my opinion, to be malicious, copyright, false filings. I think that he's definitely targeted these 3 women, which I believe one of them, and I can't remember all their names, I apologize, but I believe one of the people he is suing did settle outside of court after she announced that it was just taking such a financial toll on her, which is totally understandable because he goes after people who have a smaller platform and can't afford to take on, a frivolous lawsuit, in my opinion. But it's very clear that he finds women to be an easy target and he attacks them financially, or he sends people to go after them in the comments. Sorry, my fridge is making some noise. And so we could go back and forth. I'm going on the basis of H3H3, not very women friendly. I feel like anytime there's something about a woman comes up, it's just, let's attack her looks, let's attack who she is, let's attack what she believes. And it's very hypocritical of everybody involved. And you'll get it for people they don't like, but I think especially women. And so I thought, wow, how hypocritical to invite a member of the H3H3 podcast onto your, being Rosanna, your podcast, regardless of whatever else you think. I think it's hypocritical, right? I feel like the general consensus is that Olivia still works with H3H3. I know she's either on leave or she's going back or she's silently stepped away, but she never denounced them. She never officially quit. And some of the comments on this announcement are also from current members of H3H3 saying, oh my God, so happy for my girl. So like, I think I'll put it on screen if I can, but I think Hila, I think it's Hila. She commented like how proud she was of Olivia and that she's very excited for this new journey. And it's like, well, clearly it sounds like things ended amicably, or they haven't ended at all, and there's just a pause there. So I don't know. There are several reasons I don't like that. But again, I have no personal involvement in H3H3. I don't really care, to be honest. What I care about is people being hypocritical because it makes me uncomfortable. And so one of the things that also bothered me with this was that, for some deeper lore here, Rosanna is currently, or at least we think so, friends with Adam McIntyre, who is also a drama commentary, dramentary channel online, right? New word, dramentary, new word unlocked. And he does all kinds of topics, right? You might know him for the whole summer of 2023, I think it is, Colleen Ballinger ukulele apology, right? Adam was the one who spoke out about that. And so Rosanna and Adam go back a little while ago, like a few years is when they, I guess, started talking, but it was initially like a enemies to friends kind of arc, because at the time Rosanna had been speaking out against Mr. Beast, this was pre-lawsuits with Beast Games. This was just right in the midst of when the lawsuits had first dropped against Mr. Beast's Beast Games Season 1 kind of thing. And Rosanna was saying, oh, like, I was a contestant on one of these other shows that he did, and they represented me misfairly. They represented me unfairly. I actually got, like, 3rd place instead of 5th place. Whatever. I thought it was kind of irrelevant. Like, yes, like, I don't like when large creators take advantage of women in small spaces. And if it's true, like, that is horrible. I think it was weird of her to come out with it then, right before a big music video drop. I think that it didn't matter if you got 5th versus 3rd, because whatever it was, she wouldn't have placed in the top whatever. It had also been months prior and she was speaking on it then. It was also for charity, and it wasn't like she was gonna win any of the money anyways. There's nuance to it, right? Like, am I upset by it? Yes. Do I also think it's a little irrelevant? Also, yes. But I've been back and forth about my feelings with Rosanna, and I guess lately it just feels like it's solidifying, right? This is the same Rosanna who, mind you, never denounced her friendship with Jason Derulo, who, Jason Derulo, that guy, right? Who I guess pivoted to TikTok during COVID, but he used to do all kinds of songs, I guess. And there were some lawsuits, or at least one lawsuit, pardon me, with him and one of his fellow musicians, I guess, and she spoke out and said, hey, there's some sexual assault going on, there's sexual harassment. I have to use these code words here. And she filed. The court case, I think, was dropped in 2023 for paperwork reasons. It was like some sort of filing technicality. Her name is, I have it written down, Amaza, I guess, Gibson, or maybe it's a stage name, Amaze. I think it's Amaza. And she had, they dropped the court case and then she refiled another state. It is ongoing. But this whole time, like, Rosanna was friends with him, posting him on her story. It's just like, Rosanna is the kind of person who will be friends with one person who is doing potentially terrible stuff and then be like, no, this person's terrible because they're doing terrible stuff. Like, this other person's horrible. And it's like, well, pick one, right? Like, obviously, and I've heard this argument before, and I agree, like, if the Mr. Beast stuff is true, whatever he's doing about allegedly lying about who won in a game show, or allegedly letting this guy take her place in, like, the top 5 or top 10 or whatever, is much less worse than, like, you being friends with a potential, you know what I mean? Editor, I guess. I gotta bleep that out. And I don't know. I'm trying to keep my thoughts organized, but clearly there's so much going on. And to open up my phone to try to do a little research on this and to find that she has me blocked just kind of blows my mind, because, like, little old me, like, I sit here and I crochet. I watch her videos, like, not too much. I used to watch her videos, but I don't know. It's just fascinating to me. And so the hypocrite part of this, I guess, mostly just comes about with now the Olivia joining the Rodiculous Podcast. That's another thing, too. Sorry, my mind's all over the place. That's another thing, too, that really bothered me was Rosanna is the person who wants to speak up on behalf of women, and she's so like women forward and like anti-misogynist and like, you know, we need to support other women. And I'm like, didn't you shut down Trisha Paytas for having Tana Mojo on Trisha's podcast? And she being Rosanna was so like mean girl making fun of Trisha and Tana on this podcast with her, I think, husband Mike. They were like making fun of the way they talked and the inflection of their voice, being like, oh, we don't go to Los Angeles because we're better than everyone. And Trisha came out and was like, actually, I don't go to Los Angeles because I was essayed there like as like a young adult, and it's very traumatic for me. And I don't know if she said it happened multiple times, or it was irrelevant to like whatever Rosanna was making up. Like, Trisha doesn't go to LA because she feels unsafe there and had these terrible experiences. And so for Rosanna to be making fun of her for that, and also to be making fun of Tana, who came to Rosanna privately on the set of Escape the Night and said, hey, like, this craziest thing just happened to me. Like, this man over here was like very inappropriate and said this like really sexual harassment stuff to me, and I hurt my finger. And here's like Rosanna turning around and being like, guys, she was lying about all that. She only said this to me and this to me, and basically confirmed Tana's story in the process. But it's just like, Rosanna, I think, is an icky person. And I hate to be like that, because here I'm like, let's all be nice to each other. I just think if you make fun of victims, if you make fun of people who are trying to confide in you for something that they went through personally that's really difficult for them, if you turn around and talk behind their back, if you are making friends with people who you know who have deeply hurt and affected your current friends, I just think what a hypocritical and like horrible, icky thing to do to people. And I don't know. I mean, Rosanna and I have messaged once. I am not on her radar at all. She has no idea who I am. We messaged once during the whole like first Mr. Beast lawsuit thing coming out, because I was one of the people who were like, hey, like, here's my story. I don't know if I want to share it yet. Like, keep me anonymous. And it was never talked about. I don't want to talk about it yet. But I'm just like, she was super nice then. It's just like a facade. It feels like putting on a front. And I understand the gravity of that situation, where it was like, I'm sure a lot of people were going to her with similar stories about Mr. Beast, and it was probably a lot on her. But like, that aside, I just feel like she is very hypocritical when it comes to supporting certain people who have a record of harming other people. You know what I mean? I hope I'm being clear. I want to hear your thoughts down below. I hope I wasn't too loud or too rambly. I do want to hear your thoughts down below. Let's try to keep it civil in the comments. If there's anything else that I'm forgetting that's pertinent to the story, please let me know down below, because I hate leaving out information. And I don't know. We'll talk about it. I'm not going to watch the Rodiculous podcast. I think the last time I had seen clips of it were when she was making fun of Tana and Trisha, and I don't know. I'm not into that. So I don't want to see people like bully other people online, which bully is such like an overused word nowadays, but essentially that's what it was. I mean, you know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if there's any topics you want me to cover. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. So